So this is a demonstration that you would give during a unit or a lesson on density. The way that I would do it is I would have an equal part of water and an equal part of oil, and I would begin by having students measure both of those on a scale, so they would weigh them, and they would write down their observations. Obviously, they would find out that the oil weighs more. So then I would ask them, if I put the oil into the water in this jar, so I have a jar filled with it's like 2/3 of the way filled with regular tap water. If I put the oil into the jar, if the oil's heavier, what should happen to it? And I think a lot of them, especially in the younger grades, would say that it would sink. However, as we know, when I put the oil into the water, it does not sink. So I'd put enough oil into the water that they could obviously see when it separates that there's water on the bottom and oil on the top. So then I'd ask them what causes the oil to flow. As we know, it's density, and this is a great introduction to why density is different from weight. And this is a concept that I think a lot of students struggle with. Actually, I know some adults that even struggle with this concept. So then I would ask if there was a way, or maybe I would just demonstrate that there is a way that we can change the density of oil. We can do that by adding just regular salt. In this case, I have kosher salt, but it doesn't matter. And I have about 1/2 tablespoon here. And if you sprinkle it on top, what happens is it momentarily changes the density of the oil. We'll start to see it. See, there's the oil headed down. And then as the oil gets to the bottom, and the salt is able to separate out of it because it is heavier, the oil starts to come back up. So I think this is a great example, and you can even do more if you'd like. And then you get really big bubbles. But this is a great example of how density affects things. It makes the oil float on top of the water, even though the oil is actually heavier. And then we can also manipulate density, and we can change it by adding salt to it in this case. For the purposes of this video, I used clear water and I used regular vegetable oil, both of which the water came out of the faucet, so it was free, and the oil was regular vegetable oil, so not expensive at all. And then salt, that's something you can buy at the grocery store. However, in person, this is really cool if you add a little bit of food coloring, like red food coloring, to the water before you add the oil. And what happens is it actually looks like a lava lamp, the way the bubbles sink to the bottom and then come back up. But in the video, it wouldn't show up very well. So in this case, I use clear water and oil. Either way is fine.